The tragic fire that claimed lives at the Bosley Wood Mill in Cheshire saw our firefighters once again undertake a tireless rescue effort in extremely difficult conditions. National resilience and rescue are an important part of the traditional role of fire services in this country, but that role is becoming much broader in our communities. Well, let's discuss this further now and speak to Peter Dartford, President of the Chief Fire Officers Association. Great to see you again.
Thank you.
You've given something like 34 years of service, haven't you? You must have seen a huge amount of change over the years, and you are making some changes to the brand, but do communities actually want that? Is there the desire for change?
Well, I think fundamentally, fire and rescue services are there to help people. And that is something that has remained consistent, certainly throughout my 30-odd years of service. But of course, the way we provide that help, the way we support communities has changed, because when I joined all those years ago, the way we supported and protected communities was through emergency response. So when someone was in trouble, when they were in peril, we came and did what needed to be done to support them and to help them. But of course, nowadays, we've recognised we can do things before those bad things happen. We can take a far more proactive, preventative approach to reduce the chances of those bad things happening in the first place.
That's all good and well, but what about the day-to-day nuts and bolts of the operational rescue service? Is that going to be unchanged?
Absolutely, and in fact we've seen in recent times quite significant change in the type of incidents that we attend. We're attending much larger incidents, widespread flooding. You know, the tragic fire that you mentioned up in Cheshire were all incidents that we have to respond to. We have the capability to respond to, and through the national resilience arrangements and through our mutual aid supportive approaches, we have the capability and capacity to continue to deal with that. And of course, that's the thing that gives us that reputation with the community and that accessibility that allows us to carry out that proactive upstream preventative work.
The areas that you're planning to move into now, they're not necessarily areas that we would associate with you, are they? Tell us more about them.
Well, we've recognised that that things that increase vulnerability to fire are pretty much the same things that increase vulnerability to a whole range of other bad outcomes, so poor health, poor education, poor employability. And so we now work with partners such as local authorities, the NHS, to try and address those lifestyle choices, those things that people do that increase their vulnerability. And of course, we're now making a contribution to a much broader range of outcomes than we've ever done before. We're actually maximising the use and the value of the brand that we've got, our ability to engage with people to get some key messages across so that we improve their health, safety and well-being in a far more holistic way than we've ever done before.
Firefighters, there's something special about them, isn't there? They've always been our kind of community heroes. Are you worried that moving into these new areas will change that status within our society?
I'm not worried, because I think it'll actually enhance and improve that status. The more people recognise the contribution that we're making that goes way beyond their traditional expectations of just firefighting or cutting them out of a crash wreck of a car, I think that will encourage them to value their fire and rescue service even more than they do today.
Well, we look forward to following your story. Thank you very much indeed for coming in and talking to me today.
It's a pleasure.